to own it. Just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here. Oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you.
Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Sparkle.
So you guys are like the biggest in plumbing, heating, cool, everything that we need in the Central Valley because it's so freaking hot.
It is. It is. Yeah, you know, we're proud to say that we, you know, we've sort of, you know, invested a lot, and we've made it to where we are today by, I mean, a huge contribution to our employees and certainly the customers that helped us get there.
And I love it because it started kind of small. It's a family business, and now it's grown to where you guys have 200. How many do you have?
Yeah, yeah. So we flirt with 200 employees just north of that during the peak season for sure. And you know, it's the reality is that we have a really good core as well. I mean, we have excellent leadership. You know, we have just off camera, we have our marketing director who does wonderful things for us. We have great accountants and controllers and call center managers, and really we come together as a team to sort of drive towards our goals and accomplish what we do.
I've never seen anything like a business that has that many people that are that good, because I heard about you guys all get involved. You guys are all creative when it comes to like making decisions or even having fun on the commercials. I can't believe the employees are in the commercials. That blows my mind. And I'm like, what team players?
I'm glad you said it. So, like, I mean, it's one thing that we take pride in is employee engagement for sure, right? It speaks to our mission, right? Part of our mission is to have fun while we work, right? So, I mean, we hope that we showcase that in things like our commercials. That's why it has a comedic value to it. And the reality is that the ideas behind the commercials, you know, we're proud to say that they're hatched from the employee base, right? And as you mentioned a moment ago, the actors and actresses within the commercials are actual employees, right? So that's really cool, in my opinion.
I like that they're down to do that. That's the cool part. They seem like fun people.
They are for sure. You know, one of the more tedious processes that we do is, like, when we're hiring people, we try to find people that fit into our culture, right? Because to us, that's one of the most valuable things that we have, right? Like, I mean, we take pride in the culture. People that do shop tours and things of this sort, like, they're, generally speaking, they're pretty impressed with, like, the employee engagement. The people, you know, they're wearing smiles at work. They're proud of what they do and what they're able to accomplish. And really, I mean, that's sort of what makes a difference for Lee's.
And I don't think anybody would even think that. It's like, okay, I just want someone to come fix this, fix that. No one thinks like there's so much more and so many more components that go into that.
There is, for sure. You know, at the end of the day, like, I mean, it's HVAC repairs and installations and plumbing, right? The reality is most people in the Valley, when they're up against something, you know, and it's June or it's July, it's 110 degrees outside, their living room's 95 degrees, no one's comfortable, or when there's a plumbing issue, something like that happens, no one's excited to spend the money, right? Like, I mean, you're miserable, you're uncomfortable, or you know, plumbing's backed up. Like, this isn't something that you're looking forward to, like buying a new car is something you would look forward to, right? No, your plumbing's backed up and it's in your bathtub. Like, that's not an awesome situation for people to be put into. But if we can approach it with professionalism and really bring forward the best in the Valley, the best specialists inside the Valley, the best support staff, and frankly, the best infrastructure from a company perspective to help serve our customers, that's what we want to do. And if we can have fun while we do it, all the better.
But what's crazy about it is, like you said, no one wants to spend the money, but when you're that hot, if your AC goes out when you have 120, you'll sell a kidney at that point to get your AC working. You'll do anything.
Yes, and I've been there. I think we've all been there before. Anyone who's spent more than like a few years in the Valley, right? They know what it feels like in the middle of summer.
It is. It is almost a life and death situation.
It is, and it can be. So yeah, at the end of the day, again, it's a problem that we all face, right? No one is going to be able to necessarily change the environment which we decide to live, and that is the Central Valley. But if we can make it more comfortable, if we can make your home more inhabitable, make you happier as a family unit, fantastic. That's what we're after.
And so, I heard what makes you guys so great too is that you guys are fast. When you say you're going to be there, you're there. The job gets done. We don't have to wait months and months to get anything fixed. Tell us a little bit about your stories on that.
You know, and again, it all speaks to our mission. I mean, we're constantly looking for better ways to serve our customers. We realize the fact that, You know, when you're in an emergency situation, like I mentioned a moment ago, in the middle of July, you don't want someone to say, hey, you know, we'll be out next week, Sparkle, to come out and fix your air conditioner, or like, hey, you need a new air, you know, we're going to be out there 3 days from now to do the installation. You don't want that, right? What you want is you want someone to fix it and fix it now and get you comfortable again. And that's really what we drive for.
Really?
Yeah.
You could do like same day service? Like,
absolutely.
oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
That is
in most
really
cases
impressive.
we can, unless it's an extenuating circumstance. And again, it plays back to the question of what do the customers want? They want fast service, they want to be efficient and professional, and that's what we strive for.
That's really impressive. That's almost too good to be true that you can get it done right then and there.
Yeah, for sure. And
not only that, you guys have where it's if something goes down, the part that goes down that you guys use, you guys come and fix that. You're kind of like, okay, we fixed the job, so that it's kind of like a warranty. It's extended kind of warranty forever, right? That's what I've heard. It's a lifetime warranty.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
we offer warranties, a variety of different types of warranties depending on the type of work that's being done, for sure. And again, it's something. So, God forbid something happens at your house, right? And you have to spend, you have to make a significant investment in your home. You want some sort of reassurance that it's not going to happen again, right? Tomorrow or day after tomorrow or next month or even next year. So we try to take care of that with a variety of types of warranties depending on the work that's being done.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, we're happy to be able to do that. You know, our mission is to serve people, right? Serve our customers, our coworkers, and our community. And the last part of the mission is to have fun while we do it. So
I love that. Okay, so this is kind of a weird question. People that have been with you for a long time, they love it. They love the service. So if someone's going to purchase a new home, can they call you to come and check things out?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's something kind of like for your recurring, and then it could be like, hey, I just want to make sure that this is installed right in the first place before we even like sign papers.
Absolutely. No, we're happy to help our customers, whatever makes them feel more comfortable in their home every day. If we need to go out and take a look at something, we're happy to do all that.
And then you can kind of tell people this isn't put together right, but what can you really do at that point? Sometimes you do have to take everything out and start back in, right? Especially because we have older heating units, older cooling units. How does that work?
So yeah, I mean, if it's an older heating or cooling unit, it plays back to what do we do, right? So people like they might encounter a situation in their home where maybe their AC isn't broken down, but maybe it's just not the most efficient thing in the world. Maybe you got solar panels on your home, and now you don't want to use the gas function of your furnace, and you want to be electrical. We could leverage that. There's a variety of different options and ways to do that. The technology has changed so much over the course of the last 5 years, let alone 10, let alone 20 or even 30 years. So that people should make these investments and ultimately make themselves more comfortable. And at the end of the day, hopefully shrink down their PG&E just a little bit as well. So.
That's a big thing, right? Is that by having things and running things a certain way or not having their equipment, we're racking up the bills, right?
For sure, yeah. Yeah, if you have an inefficient unit, right, an HVAC unit, let's say, and you're just there's all sorts of different metrics you can use, and maybe it's undersized for your home, maybe your ducting isn't right, SEER ratings have gone up, so I mean things are more efficient today. The reality is, again, if you have a unit that's older, maybe it's time to evaluate what you have, and there might be a better alternative for you.
So investing like 5 or 10 grand a project could be saving us so much yearly on our PG&E.
For sure. Yeah, and that nothing has been truer than it. That's not truer at any other time than it is today, for sure.
Right.
Especially with the way California is too, right? Like, I mean, California is quickly regulating and making decisions for you, right? Because I mean, there's a lot of green initiatives and things of that sort that homeowners and the state wants you to be compliant with, and we're proud to be able to say that we offer those solutions for them.
What are the biggest mistakes you see people making right now where you're just like, come on, if you just did this, you wouldn't have this problem or this? What do you see?
So I really appreciate you asking that. Can I just answer it with what the biggest mistake is, in my opinion? Doing what could be a relatively simple project more than once, right? So I always tell people that the most expensive project you can do for your house is having to do it twice, and that is hiring the wrong contractor to do it. Right?
Oh, man.
If we're in a position now where we make significant investments, obviously, inside of the company, inside of our employees, and inside of these different products that we can offer, in hopes that when we do a project, it is always done the right way the first time. So, when we're encountering our customers, like we mentioned a moment ago, you want it to be done correctly. You want reassurances it's not going to fail again in the future. And so that's what we try to do.
So do you see a lot of problems with people trying to do it themselves?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And they should just right away have called you?
Yes.
What should be people doing themselves? Is there something people are calling you for they should be doing themselves though?
It really depends. I'm not going to speak to that so much because it really depends on your comfort level, right? I mean, there's some customers that want us to go out and do something as simple as change an air filter for them, and we're happy to do that.
And
right?
that's silly. That's something we should be doing ourselves.
Well, maybe. I mean, or maybe if you're a little bit older, right, and it's not inside your comfort zone, maybe you should have someone help you with that.
Right.
But for the vast majority of people, that's probably inside their wheelhouse of competencies.
How often should we be changing the filters?
You should be changing them at least twice a year. So, and again, those circumstances change a little bit. How many pets do you have in the home? How many people are living in the home, right? How old is your air conditioner? Like, all these things are considerations you should make. But a good rule of thumb is twice a year.
And then are people breaking their stuff by doing it? Are there sometimes people doing some major damage because they should not be touching it in the first place? Tell us a story about that. I'm sure you have one.
Yeah. So there's all sorts of them. The ones that come to mind, they happen to be more on the plumbing side, right? Like people that want to, there's always the case of like the child that flushes the toy down the toilet and stuff, and like people will plunge and then that doesn't work and they start getting more involved and they start trying to take, and then one problem leads to another. Next thing you know, you have like a repipe of the house, and now what could have been solved relatively quickly and easily is now a larger project at stake. So, I mean, those scenarios play out pretty consistently, I would say. So, but it's okay. Like, I mean, it's people want to, we're going forward with this initiative of like partners in the community, right? Like, I mean, everyone has a home, everyone has a place that they call home, everyone wants their house to function the way they want it to, and we want it to function the way you want it to as well. We want to partner with you in that endeavor, right? So if you have a certain wheelhouse that you're comfortable with servicing on your own, great, that's fantastic. But if and when the need arises, like, hey, I have questions about this, or maybe I should have a professional actually get this done, we're your partner in doing that. We're the partner in the community. And that's what we have up on billboards. We have pictures of our specialists, our employees up on billboards with current customers, right? Satisfied customers. And that's what we're trying to push at this point in time, right? We want to showcase that because we're proud. We're proud of what we've been able to accomplish over the last.
How long have you guys been around?
Since 1981.
Since 1981.
So, yeah.
So how long have you been around with Lee's? How long have you?
So I'm a relatively new addition, about a year and a half or so. My background is from outside the industry, but it's an exciting field to learn for sure. That is HVAC.
So have you seen the difference, then, since you're relatively new, about how newer homes are being built? Are they built more compatible to where it's easier for you guys to come in and do stuff?
Ooh, that's a good question. So the short answer, yes. In a lot of cases, yes. They should be serviceable. They should be relatively accessible to get done what we need to get done. The reality is also, though, is that when you install like a new unit, especially on a new home, like an average life cycle for a unit shouldn't be more than, say, 10 years, right? So people buy a new home, and it's safe to assume that these things are going to last for up to 10 years, maybe a little bit longer. We visit homes pretty consistently today where the units themselves are 15, 20, 25, 30 years old, and they're kind of on life support, right? So that scenario plays out quite a bit as well, for sure.
And then people get all upset that they have to spend so much to replace them.
Yeah, that happens sometimes as well. Yeah, it's being upset, I get it, for sure. Like, no one gets excited about buying a new air conditioner necessarily. But that being said, it's necessary in the Valley.
But I bet some people are excited because then it works so great and stuff, and they're like, "Wow, we never knew it could be this cool or so great in here." So I bet there were some perks to that too that they find.
For sure.
And you guys add some fun incentives for your customers. So there's one if somebody puts out on their lawn, you guys give them money. Tell us about that promotion.
The yard sign contest, right? Like, so I mean, if you put a sign out in your front yard, we have a drawing that we do, and one lucky winner will be rewarded financially for the drawing, right? So that's pretty cool, and that really costs nothing, right? Like, I mean, so the technician will go out, he'll put it out there, and it gets put into a drawing, and we draw them every month, right?
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. You know, and again, the best marketing you can have is satisfied customers. So our hope is that if we have a yard sign in front of a customer's house, this is someone who's been satisfied with our work, and maybe they'll tell a neighbor or two about it. So.
And then there was one that if we see your vans and take a picture, we get. And I see all your vans
Spotted
everywhere.
truck.
I didn't know about that until afterwards. I follow you guys now, so now I know all the incentives.
Yeah.
So what? So if they spot a truck and then post a photo, what do they get?
Yeah. So yeah, you blast it on social media. Again, you know, you have the opportunity to win money, right? So, and you know, the prizes vary from month to month and everything, but spotted truck contest, we're trying to get out there. We want to be on you know, social media for sure. You know, and organic marketing. That's more of the yard sign campaigns for sure.
Because I do see your trucks all the time. You guys definitely are busy.
Yeah. No, we do. And the good thing is that we're growing. We have a good growth rate, and I think the word is getting out, right? I've heard that before. Hey, we're starting to see more and more of your trucks. We have a larger footprint at this point in time. We operate in Northern California as well, so we're out in Loomis, which is just outside of Sacramento. But yeah, it's exciting to see for sure.
I appreciate you coming during your peak season because I know this is your busy season. Do you offer any incentives? So let's say we do have a unit that's on life support and we, you know, want to come out. Is there like every business has a time that's a little bit slower. So if we come out during a slower time, is there any incentives into that? Like getting our, you know.
Most definitely. Yeah. Okay. So again, state of California, right? So there's always different rebates that are offered from the state level. We help with our customers in taking advantage of those. But at the same time, Lee's actually, you know, we offer various discount programs, excuse me, over the course of like the down season or the shoulder season, as we call it, right? So yeah, absolutely.
So when's that season?
When it's not 110 degrees outside.
But then also when it's really cold because you do heating as well.
We do,
so that's so probably in spring or fall.
Yeah, so you see a little uptick like
we only have 2
November.
weeks of spring and 2 weeks of fall. So.
Right. We don't really know what spring and fall is. But yeah, everything's either like super green and like overgrown or it's dead and brown, right? So yeah, it's Fresno. But that being said, it's yeah, we always have various initiatives. Like right now, state of California has a Tech Clean initiative that we're helping customers take advantage of. They can get some rebates based on the type of product that they buy, heat pumps. So yeah, it's real savings.
So where can we go and find out all that information? Do you constantly put it like online on the social, on the website?
You can visit our website for sure.
So if we're going to go buy something, we can kind of say, hey, is this?
You can go to our website. You could actually shop units on our website. If you have no idea how much of an investment you're looking to make for an air conditioner, right? You can go online. You can click on a quick button in the upper right-hand corner. And it'll ask you a few questions about where this thing's located, and it'll give you a series of options, right? Usually 1, 2, 3, or even 4 options based on the criteria that you selected, and it'll give you price points for each. You can make the selection, it schedules an appointment. We could have someone out there to have a discussion with you. Maybe you want to finance it, pay cash, whatever the case may be. Happy to help you along however you want to go.
Oh, that's great. And then,
it's pretty cool, yeah.
Well, I just, for the first time last year, put a toilet together. And I did a really good job. There was a slight leak, and then actually my producer, he had to come and finish, and he fixed the leak.
Yeah.
And so I knew nothing at all about anything. This is completely, you know.
For sure.
So could I have gone on the web, or like called and like, so what should I get as far as putting in the toilet? Or
right.
you guys just say leave it alone?
For the toilet, it's a little bit different. But that being said, you could certainly go to the website. There's a phone number for you. There's actually an outline of plumbing, right? It tells you what we do, what we're comfortable with, all this stuff, and it gives you a phone number to call. We're happy to go out same day, as we mentioned a moment ago, give you an estimate and tell you how to proceed.
So how much would you have done that? If you know how you have those toilets that like just keep making a noise, and they don't. I think that was the reason.
A toilet that's making a noise.
That keeps making a low humming, and so I think that was a problem. If I can remember, it was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Would you guys even say you shouldn't do anything? You guys can actually, there's a technician to kind of talk to you on the phone with that.
Yeah, if it's bothering you, it's bothering us. We want to make sure, again, that you're comfortable in your house. We want everything to function properly. So yeah, if it's making a noise, maybe water's running through the toilet when it shouldn't be. It could be a simple fix. Maybe you need a toilet replacement. All totally cool. We can get someone out there and fix you up.
How often do you like toilet replacements?
Every day. Every single day. Yeah.
No, for like a home. How often do you come across? I'm sorry, like where people have to you kind of like are like, oh yeah, you need to replace this. I know we need to replace our heating, we need to replace everything at some point.
So what you're asking is, what is the expected timeline or life expectancy of a toilet?
Pretty much.
Boy, okay. So without keeping it appropriate as possible, like, I mean, we'd want to talk about the usage of the toilet, but I mean, feasibly, I mean, let's call it 5 to 10 years for a toilet. I think is probably proper. A lot of them will make it a little bit longer for sure. But if you're
so for the whole toilet, or just for the inside, just for the top part?
I'm thinking of the whole toilet.
Okay.
It
was the top part.
The top part. Yeah, I mean, you'll do that every few years. Whenever the stuff breaks. A lot of the time, the chain will rust out, and you have to replace the chain. You know, sort of the guts of the toilet you have to replace a little bit more often. But
yeah, that's what I did. Just kind of put the whole thing in there, and it was.
Or it could leak from the bottom. I mean, you could have like a seal issue at the bottom. All that's totally cool. Like, I mean, that's easy to fix. So. Well,
you're definitely one with all the information.
I don't know about that. But
so you guys are always hiring as well, you said. So what are some of the, do you put that online or on the socials and keep us about?
Yeah, so absolutely always hiring, right? Like, we're always looking for talent. We're always looking to expand our team. You know, one thing that I try to tell the department heads is that, you know, if you have someone that needs to be a part of our team, right, regardless if your department is hiring or not, right? Like, so if you're the install department head and you're interviewing someone that needs to be a part of our team, but maybe like you don't have opening inside of install, you hire them, right? Like, because we are looking for good people first and foremost to represent the brand, good members of the community to help represent the brand for sure, respected people of the community. Those are people that need to be working for Lee's. All the other stuff, like, we can find a position for them internally, right?
Wow.
Like, if you have someone that, and you're an install manager, that maybe they should be working inside of the call center, maybe they should be working in the warehouse, maybe they should be working in marketing or accounting, whatever the case may be, but you have a solid candidate, what we call internally an A player, they need to be on our team, right? So that's sort of what we made a habit out of, and that's something that we take pride in. So yeah, you talk about 200 employees, not all of them were hired in the right position at the right time, right? But the reality is we made the decision on the fly. It's like, yes, you need to become a member of the team. We could figure out the other stuff
That
later.
is so cool.
Most definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Like I said, you guys are like one of the coolest companies.
You know, I appreciate that. Thank you. And humor goes a long way, I think, right? So, like, I mean, when you see the billboards, a lot of the people that I talk to, they're like, oh, yeah, I see your billboards. You know, one of my favorites was, you know, during the COVID-19 pandemic and everything, it said, still offering indoor seating, as a picture of a toilet, right? I think that's pretty cool.
I love that.
Yeah,
that is right. Humor goes a long way.
Yeah, it does, right? Like, I mean, and the reality is that thing was, okay, so that billboard went up 2 or 3 years ago, you know, like I said, during the pandemic. People are still talking about it today, right? Like, I mean, I just talked to someone a couple days ago that's like, oh yeah, I saw the billboard indoor seating. I'm like, yeah, man, that's us. It's that type of impact that we're looking for, right? And billboards, it's like, you know, you drive past a billboard 1,000 times on the way to work or whatever, and it's like, oh, you know, maybe no one calls off of billboards, but it gets ingrained somewhere in the back of your head, right? So that when your air conditioner does fail, or when your plumbing does fail, or your toilet breaks, for example, somewhere in the back of your head, your brain starts filing through all the memories and all the billboards and all this stuff. It's like, that's right, billboard. Yeah, Lee's had a good billboard. I remember that. Let's call Lee's. And that's the hope with it, right? So that's sort of a marketing strategy that we have behind the billboards.
So my last question for you is, what have you, because like I said, I haven't heard anything, but I only hear positive things about your company, but what are some of the things you think that Lee's is above other mom and pop shops around town or places that don't? What have you heard? What have you seen?
What makes us different from some of the mom and pop shops, like what you're referring to? In my opinion, it's the people, right? You know, I've talked to the executive leadership for Lee's, and I've always said, like, you know, it doesn't matter necessarily what you're doing. It matters more about who you get to do it with, right? So if you have good people that you get to do it with every single day, that's what makes a difference, right? That's what gets you from a mom and pop, using what you just said a second ago, like a mom and pop type company, to people that can think big, right? To getting to the point where if you want to run a commercial, you turn to your employees and be like, hey guys, what's a good idea? You know, and we have votes and we have all these different things. That sort of train of thought, hiring the right people to represent your brand and take pride in that effort, that's what we do differently.
Have you seen other people with other jobs take too long, not have enough parts in time, do some shoddy work? What are some of the things that you've seen where you're like, you know?
So parts and time. That's a great question. If I could speak to that just for a second. Strategically speaking, you know, we sort of went out on a limb and we did something called a VMI inside of Lee's, right? So what that is vendor managed inventory. So inside of our office at Lee's, we have a store, right? And the store is it's a supplier of ours, right? It's a well-known air conditioning company. And the reason we did that is because we know that our customers don't want to hear, like I said a moment ago, when it's 110 degrees outside, it's like, hey, this is the problem, and I'm going to have the part day after tomorrow. I should be here in 3 days to come out and fix it, right? You make that same phone call to Lee's, and we're like, hey, this is the problem. I have it on my truck. Or worst case scenario, hey, I'm going to run back to the shop. I'll be back in 15 minutes.
Wow.
How much is, like, what is that
That's
worth?
huge.
How much is that worth to a customer, right?
Right. No,
That's why we did it, though, right? Because we know that you want that. We know that our customers want that, and that's how we can serve people.
I love that. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Of course.
Next time, I expect a tour at the Lee's shop.
I would hope that you would come anytime. You're always welcome, you and your staff.
I love that. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Chad.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for coming on today, Sherri.
Well, thank you for having us. Me.
So you've been doing in the bridal world forever. Either you were doing wedding planning and now it's all dresses.
Yes, I've been in the bridal industry since 1993.
And you must like it.
I do. There's brides that are just really wonderful and they're moms, and the thing I like most is dressing the bride than dressing the mom.
Oh, wow, that is fun.
Yeah.
And so with the dresses, do you also do bridesmaids dresses or strictly bridal?
We did a lot of bridesmaids dresses, but you know how it is now with the internet. So a lot of bridesmaids are buying their dresses online because they feel that they can get it less expensive. So right now what we're doing is just, working on our brides. If you buy a dress from us, or if you've been in our store but got your dress someplace else and you want to come back for bridesmaids, we'll be more than happy to help you. But I told my girls to concentrate more on just the brides that buy from us, and we can take care of their whole wedding party. Because we do the bridesmaids, we do moms, we do the little kids, we do the men, we do the formal wear.
You do the men as well?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so it's a one-stop shop if you're going to get married. Wow, okay. Yeah. That's got to be a lot of work.
It is, but it's, the menswear is really easy.
Really?
Yeah. We work with Jim's Formal Wear, and they're just down in Visalia. And then I have a friend in Visalia who has a tuxedo shop also, that he has purchased so much inventory that if I want to rent from him, I can rent from him also, because he has a lot of great choices.
Is that what happens mostly, that men are more on the renting side?
I have seen just recently where the groom wants to buy his suit, but the wedding party would just prefer to rent.
That makes sense.
And again, now there's rental places for men online also now, where, you know, they show them how to take their measurements and they send them in, then they send the suit to them, they try it on. If they need it to be, you know, fixed or anything, or they need a different size, then they'll send them a different size.
So do you have anything to rent there, or it's all purchase?
I do have a few things to rent. So you can come in, and through Jim's has a program where you can rent or buy. So like I have a lot of grooms that will buy from Jim's, and then the groomsmen will rent. Now we take their measurements and send the measurements in, and then Jim's will send us their suit. And they come in and they try their suit on. If we have to tweak anything, if it's a hem, if it's pulling up the coat sleeve or hemming the pants, we do that in-house. But if I have to change the pant size or the coat size,
Right.
Jim's is just down in Visalia, and they send me new stuff in a day.
What about for females? Is there any renting as far as that? No, we have to buy it.
Yeah, I don't rent any. I don't rent bridal wear or bridal, you know, like the bridal gown or the bridesmaids. No, you got to buy them.
So what made you do the switch from wedding planning, which you're great at and you love, to getting the dresses?
Well, long story, so I'll make it short. I went to work for Madeline's in 1993. No, 1990. It was right after my husband and I got married. I went to work for Madeline's, and I had fun dressing up brides. Then girls started saying to me, well, can you come and help me at my wedding? So then I started going to the wedding and helping at the wedding. And then my girlfriend said, Sherri, you were always such a great entertainer. Why don't you just do that? So I finished my degree at Fresno State in 1993, my business marketing degree. I wanted to get back into volunteer work. So I saw that March of Dimes was looking for someone, or they were looking for volunteers. So I went to go talk to them, and they had a position open. So I ended up becoming their Walk America coordinator.
Wow.
So I was doing Walk America coordinating for March of Dimes, and I was doing weddings on the side. And
So then did you stop working at Madeline's at that point? Did you
yes,
okay,
yes.
so then now, okay.
Yeah, I left Madeline's after a year plus because people started asking me to help them with their weddings. And then I landed the job at March of Dimes, and then when I got pregnant with my Kelly, my husband said, one or the other.
Right, because
And I went the route of doing wedding coordinating. So, and did that for many, many years. And in 2003, several of the brides that I was coordinating their weddings at that time came to me and said, what's going on with Madeline's? They're being very evasive. They're not letting us know what's going on. They said that they can't order anything, that you have to buy off the rack. They're overstocked. Well, in hindsight, it was more that they couldn't decide if they wanted to close or sell. And so I ran into them, and they said, let's talk because we thought of you about selling the business to you. And then ding dong, me bought it.
oh my goodness. Wow.
So, and then after I bought it, it was the fun story was that the original owners, and my mom told me this, and when I bought Madeline's, my mom had been diagnosed with liver cancer. And so, and she said, I want to come work for you. I want to just sit at the front desk and answer phones and do all of that. Anyway, she never got to do that because she passed away. But she was telling me stories of how the original owners, Mr. and Mrs. Hasty, who originally owned Madeline's, and they had a daughter, and that's how Madeline's was the name, is because their daughter was Madeline. So, but they knew my grandparents, and my grandparents had a religious store down here in downtown Fresno. So they'd call her up and go, Mary Alice, we have some new clothes. And so Grandma would go over there and pick up the outfits they had for her. She'd take them home, try them on, took back what she didn't want, and took them a check for what she kept.
Wow.
Yeah. So kind of with that little story, when people come into my store and, I've been known to let them take some things to try, of course I get their credit card and their driver's license, but, I'll let them take them and take them home. Like there's been people who grandparents can't come in, so they take dresses home for them, or mom and dad are coming in from out of town and I'll let them take some bridal gowns home.
That's nice.
So it's just, it just always reminds me of, the Hasties with my grandparents.
You
or
kept
my
your
grandma.
traditions going on.
Yeah.
How long has Madeline's been there?
Madeline's has been in existence since 1954, and it started down in the tower, but I was also told that they also had one farther down, kind of where the First Presbyterian Church is on M Street. They had another little store over there, and then they had the one in the tower, which when you cross over Olive, you know how you run right into, now I think there's a tattoo place there, or was it? But it was sitting right there. So when you go wish on and turn onto Fulton, it was right there.
Wow.
So, and then when Jack bought it, Jack Hurley bought the store, he kept it there for a little bit, and then he moved it to Manchester, and that's when he opened up Act One Tuxedos. So then it was always, remember how it was always Madeline's in Act One, and Best Man, and Mission Village, Brides of Mission Village? Do you remember that?
Don't. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. But yeah, so
now there's no more Act One?
no, there's no more Act One, there's no more Brides of Mission Village, and there's no more Best Man.
Wow. But it's really cool you kept it going, because I bet they didn't want, you said they were like determined to sell it. I mean, I'm sure they're happy they sold it to you out of because you kept a lot
I
of
hope
that.
they are. I hope they. I mean, I've had it for 19 years now, and 13 years in downtown Clovis.
So how many times did brides come back, their second, third marriage, and still come and get a dress from you? I'm sure that happens.
Yes, it has. A couple times. I've had a couple brides that I've also redid their coordinations with their weddings with.
But that's the great thing for you is that you did such a great job the first time. They wanted you again, and they wanted the dress again.
Yeah. It's been fun, and it's fun to run into my past clients, or clients that now they're bringing their daughters to my store to get dresses. So, yeah.
Full circle.
Yep, it has. It has been. It's been fun.
So what should we know about purchasing a wedding dress?
Purchasing a wedding dress, you wanna make sure that you give yourself a good 6 to 8 months, sometimes longer depending on the designer. Most of my dresses come in anywhere between 4 and 6 months. So that rule of thumb of planning a year out really holds true, because, and especially since we've had our little COVID and the delivery disasters and all of that. Now that's a lot better. I haven't had hardly any issues with that. Most of my designers are very good about having their dresses ready between 4 and 5 months. So there could be some that could be a little bit longer, but if it's a little bit longer, it has to do with something that happens over where the dresses are being made. But you want to allow time. You also need to allow time for your alterations. And we always tell our brides that you want to do your alterations 6 to 8 weeks out from your wedding. But if you come in, we've had a lot of brides recently come in that they're getting married in 3 months, 6 months. So we try to find them a dress off the rack. Some of my designers will carry stock, so we'll always check first if they have stock. If they have stock, then we can get them a new dress. If they don't have stock, then buying a dress off the rack is not a big deal. And I think nowadays more and more people are fine with buying off the rack. I mean, I haven't had a lot of issues this past year with girls saying, oh no, it's okay, I'll buy it off the rack.
So what is the difference? Is it because people have this idea in their head and they're like, I want it like this, or drawing an idea?
I think what it is that people want it now. They want to know that it's in their hot little hands, that they don't have to wait for it, because with the world being so uncertain anymore on, you know, when we had COVID and now with the stuff that's going on now, you know, and then all of a sudden you had the Ukrainian war, and I have a Ukrainian designer in my store. So, you know, people worry about that kind of stuff.
Oh, for sure. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm sure the pandemic affected you.
It did, but I'll tell you, COVID was the best thing for Madeline's.
Really? Why is that?
Because we really didn't, we closed for a little bit, but people still wanted to get married and they still wanted to come in for dresses. So that's when we started our private appointments. And
right, because you're not in there with a store full of people.
yeah. So we did the private appointments and people were buying, and it was really nice.
Oh, that's really cool. That's good to know. But when you're saying people like are now buying the stuff that's in instead of like ordering it, was it they look at your like all the little dresses and be like, I want this, but I want it different? Was it mainly to change up what was already there, or just what was in stock? Or
no, because most girls, you know, when they come in, they'll have pictures of things that they like.
right.
So we're going to pull dresses. If we don't have that exact dress, we're going to pull dresses that are very similar. Girls come in thinking they want sleeves. Well, then they try sleeves on, and then they don't want sleeves. You know, they have this idea in their head that because they see on Pinterest and on Instagram and all of that, oh, look how beautiful this dress is with sleeves. Well, then they come in and they try sleeves on, and it's like, oh, they're kind of uncomfortable. So, and then if they find, we always tell our brides, keep an open mind. Even though you say you don't want a strapless, you really need to try a strapless on, because strapless, you can always put straps on, and the top can always be built up if you want a longer sleeve on them. So we try to help our girls to be more think outside the box type of thing.
That's the hard part, huh? Because they have very tunnel vision.
Yeah. But once you start getting them into different dresses, then they can see the picture, and then they can understand.
That's where your experience comes in, because you know more than they do.
Yeah.
Wow. And then so now, and I hope to have this girl on the show in the future, you said, Taylene, you have somebody taking some of your dresses and redesigning them.
Yes, because all the dresses in the store, I go to market, I have to buy these dresses, and sometimes it's a crapshoot, because you think these dresses are beautiful, you get all different kinds of styles for the girls, and then there are some that are just, I guess you would call them dead dogs, or, you know, that people are like, oh, that's not very pretty. Well, I have a gal now who comes in, she looks at that dress, and she sees her vision of how she could make that dress look gorgeous. So I'm excited to start working with her, where she's going to take some of my dogs and turn them into beautiful wedding gowns, and they'll be one-of-a-kind gowns for a bride.
And that's pretty cool. To have a one-of-a-kind
I think it's
gown.
really cool. I'll have to send you some pictures.
I've seen some, and the thing is, I thought they looked nice the first time too. I saw the vision, but they do look really cool with her like renovations. So that's really neat.
Yeah.
What's the deal with return policy? So what if somehow, you know, I mean, I had a friend that I think it was like a week or so before the wedding, it was like not happening anymore, and she was stuck with like, you know, still a deposit wedding venue. What do you do in the cases like that if they're just not going to get married? Do you work with them and taking the dress back? Or?
I don't take the dress back, only because of the fact that it's a special order. It's not like it's not like I have these dresses on the rack and you can come in and just purchase one and walk out like your Macy's or something like that. But I do work with the brides. If a bride of ours cancels her wedding, then I will give her some ideas of how to sell her dress.
That's nice.
I've had some where we've taken them in and we've sold them for them, and then I take a commission part off of it and give them a check.
That's nice. You're getting okay. I like that.
Yeah. So there's that aspect, but our policy is that no refunds. But I'm also one of these people that, you know, like I've had a couple brides where, you know, she bought a dress. Take this one. She bought a dress, then she did a fashion show for me, and was in that dress, and her friend kept posting it on social media, and so she came and she said, "Sherri, I can't wear this dress for my wedding. I was in it. I was there. It's all over social media." She goes, "I need a new dress." So I let her exchange her dress. You know, she bought one off the rack. She didn't buy, you know, we didn't special order her one. So then I just put hers on my rack, and then she took the one off the rack. And I've had where, you know, I had another bride who, we were at the time where it was, she was doing her alterations, and she had just found out that there was some medical issues going on, and she had really plumped up, and she couldn't stand herself in the dress, and she was crying, and during the alterations,
so sad.
yeah, and I said, "Come on, let's go find another dress," because I want them to be happy. I want them to feel good on their wedding day. I want them to feel beautiful as they're walking down that aisle to their future husband. So if I can help them in any way, I'm going to help them.
This seems so involved. I don't think this is the kind of service you get at one of those bigger stores. We won't say names. Right.
Yeah, well, I don't think you get that service either at some of the smaller boutiques either.
I mean, that's really impressive. Yeah, I mean, this is so cool. So, appointments. So what are your hours then?
Well, when it was COVID and after COVID, we tried to stick to appointments only. But it's just really hard for us to be appointment only when we're downtown Clovis and people are walking by and people just don't realize, you know, the whole aspect. Maybe if I just had bridal gowns in my place and nothing else, then I could really do the, you know, appointment only. But it's really hard to just do appointment only because you have people moms that don't think about that because they're so used to going to Macy's or going, you know, Nordstrom
So
Rack.
now your hours are pretty
Yeah.
afternoonish, morning, afternoon.
Basically, we're there Tuesday through Thursday, 11 to 6, Friday and Saturday, 10 to 5. Pretty soon, we're going to start doing every other Sunday because I still believe that my girls need to have their Sunday off with their family. I want my Sunday
What about
off
Saturdays?
Friday and Saturdays, 10 to 5.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but we've been getting some requests for Sundays. So, and if you really think about it, Hair of the Bride really has Saturday to shop, and we do evening appointments. Like if you can't come on a Saturday and you can get your girls together, I love doing Friday night appointments. I tell them we lock the door, you can bring food.
Oh, that
I
sounds
have
like a fun time.
champagne.
Love it.
If you want to bring other alcohol, you can bring other alcohol, and we'll just party and have fun. And so I love doing that because it's just us in the store, and they get to relax and have fun. I love the appointment only type of thing, but sometimes it's really hard. But I also, in my mind, you know, the brides want that bridal experience.
Right.
They want that one-on-one, which is fine. But when you're in our store, we only really take 2 bridal appointments at a time, and we kind of like one will be at 10, one will be at 10:30. So you're not all coming in all at one time. So we have a room for, you know, the 10 o'clock bride. We have a room for the 10:30 bride.
I love that. That sounds great.
So I would like to be just appointment only, but it doesn't happen.
So when we're all going to follow you on Instagram, tell our viewers what your Instagram. It's just Madeline's Bridal.
It's just Madeline's Bridal, but it's Madeleiness Bridal.
Spelled different than a lot of the Madelines.
Yeah, you just have to, after the I, you just have to remember to put an E.
Are you guys good about when you do get new things, kind of posting a little bit online so we could see it?
Yes, and I have a really wonderful gal right now, Maddie, who's doing our social media. So, and right now we have Kenneth Winston, his dresses, his 2024 dresses in the store.
Oh, wow.
So there's a rack full. So we've been trying to get the word out that come in and see his new line. He has some really pretty stuff.
What's the price range, give or take?
Dresses in my store range anywhere from $1,500 to $4,500. Most of the dresses are right in the 2,000 range.
Okay.
So
the lowest one is like about 1,500.
yeah, but I also have dresses that that we've marked down that are still really, really good dresses, but they're not moving, and so we've marked them down. And if you have a budget and you need to come see me, I'll help you find a dress.
Well, that seems really affordable. I thought you were going to say like there's some $10,000 gowns. Like that's actually really affordable. I like that.
No.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's really fun to meet you.
I will have Taylene come in soon.
Yes, we have to.
Thanks for coming on the show today, Dav.
Always excited to be here. Nice being on your show.
All right, you've been all over the world, which I think is really cool. So tell us a little bit about that.
A little all over the world, a little far-fetched, but I've been around. I've been around like Miami, Puerto Rico, India, and just around the States. But it's always been like, except for the India trip, it's always mainly been for filmmaking and travel. So that's always been good, and it's always nice seeing all those, even within the States, how like every state has its own little culture.
That's true. It's like we're just all comprised together, but
Yeah.
it's a different world when you go to
100%.
the East Coast and then just going the South and then West Coast.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like it's crazy the little microcosms that we all live in different states too. But like we're still like the United States, but it's made up of all these little microcosms and these little different personalities. Like it's crazy to see how the influence of the Hispanic culture is in California versus how different the culture is in Pennsylvania or in New York, you know?
What's your background?
I'm actually Indian, but was born and raised in United States.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So you're from where? You're from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, the Lehigh Valley area, next to an hour away from Philly, but we just say Philly because people don't understand. It's just an hour away.
I went to the Hershey factory. That was fun.
That's cool. Yeah, that's dope. That's one of the few things we're known for.
So you moved here, and you have a really interesting story. So tell the viewers what you can or what you want to share about why and how you moved here, how you ended up in the Central Valley.
So in a world, so it all started out with, so it started off kind of sad. The reason I moved out here, good and sad. Originally, I was going to move out to LA to work with a designer that I met during New York Fashion Week. They wanted me to come by, get their new lineup as they were about to take on Paris Fashion Week at the time. And I was completely down to do that. But at this time was the first time I met my mother in my entire life. Last year was the first time I talked to her, like a year and a half ago after the passing of my grandmother. Like I just wanted answers, like why, like she left.
Did you always know about her, like who she was?
I knew her name. That's all I ever knew in my life. Like in my entire life.
Not a picture?
Nothing. I've never, like I didn't know what she looked like. Who she was as a person, how long like her and my dad were even together, why she left. I knew nothing.
You never even asked your dad? I know you passed away when you were young.
Yeah.
But...
I mean, to be honest, I just never like felt the need to. I was like, well, I wanted to know about my past and all that. I just didn't want to bring up something that could be painful to him. So I was just like, you know what? If like, even at a very young age, I knew if life like wanted me to know this, I'll know it eventually. Like, you know, I like ever since 5th grade, I had this mindset of I'm gonna be the shit, you know, I'm him. Like, so like I knew whatever answers I want in life, they're eventually gonna come, whether it's at a young age or whether it's at an old age. So I just kind of let it rock. And then after my grandmother, I was like, you know what? Let me call her and figure out why she left.
How'd you get to that step? How'd you, if you just knew her name, or know, did you Google or what?
So at the time, my brother was getting out of jail, and for the like 5th, 6th time, like
is this your brother with your dad, like your half brother?
No, this is my older brother. So like he's full on my brother.
Okay.
He's been in and out the system since like he was 18.
So does he remember your mom a little bit?
A very little bit. which was one of the reasons why I kind of wanted to know why like she left, because like when she initially left, she only took him, and then she left me with this side of the family until my grandfather went and got my older brother back. So it's just like I always wanted to know why. Because like I always get like different treatment, especially in Pennsylvania. Like that side of my family just treated me so different, and there was like the whole black sheep thing, and same with my brother. We were just treated so differently, and like we kind of wanted to know like why, like what went down. And this was like my brother's 5th time out of jail, so I was like, yo, maybe if like I talk to her, like maybe he'll stop getting out of trouble or something. I don't know. It was like a very stupid idea I had. But in the process of calling her, the reason we got to that and found out was we had to find out some information about my brother. So we went on those like People Truth Finder websites.
Right.
And I just like broke down, like I was just trying to get like every little detail I could to deal with his paperwork for his parole officer. And then like I found a possible relatives tab. And then from there, like I got her email. It's crazy, by the way, the amount of information the government has out there just that everybody could see public. It's insane. Like people could find out every member of your family and people that are possibly related to you, like like second cousins and stuff like that. Like literally anybody that has your DNA was in America was in that database. And I was like shook. And then I found her number and all that. My brother was like, I'm not going to call her. She has a whole another life and all that. If you want to, you can. I was like, I'm good too. And then eventually it just got to me and I was like, all right, cool. A massive argument broke out back in Pennsylvania. So I was like, you know what? This will get to him. Let them know I know my brother now. But then like when I first talked to her, it was like hella emotional for her. So I was like, oh, she was forced to leave. Like, you know? Like,
Did she go, where did she say she's here, but did she go back to India at any point?
No, she moved to New York, and then she stayed there for like a little bit.
So was she in Pennsylvania? You guys were originally all in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we, the whole family moved to Pennsylvania from.
Is
like,
there a lot of Indians in Pennsylvania?
There's a decent amount of.
In the area that you're in? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't remember seeing. I felt like the odd one out when I was driving up and down Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Oh no, there's like a few parts of Pennsylvania that are like really diverse, and then there's other parts like, oh my God, I see fellow colored people. Like,
right, that's it. I think that's the parts I
Yeah, I remember one time I went to like the middle of Pennsylvania, and I was just like, oh man, I can't get out this car, dude. I looked at my boy Rob. I was like, listen, any hotel we go to, any store we go to, you're the one talking to these people. I'm gonna stay my brown ass in the car.
Right. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
But yeah, so then I met her last year for the first time in person.
She went from New York to the Central Valley. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. I don't know how that all went down, but I know she got remarried, and then I think at some point after that she actually went to Texas, and then after Texas she moved out here because well, they moved here. This was where my 2 younger half brothers were born, and then they moved out to Texas and then back.
How did it feel to get like answers to so many questions that you had?
I'm not really good with my emotions, so it was just
yeah.
It was just like, whoa, this is kind of wild. And then like for a little bit, I didn't even like, it was so wild to me, and like I didn't even talk to her like for a few days after that call. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just let this settle, and I'm gonna let this like
process.
I have to process
you
this.
Have
yeah
to.
So I did that, and then she just started calling me more often than I would call her. Like I would barely call her because, like, once again, not really good with my emotions, and I try to keep myself busy to distract myself from those emotions. But like she would just call me and be like, look, like it was kind of easier to not talk to you when we never talked, but now ever since that call, I want to talk to you more. I was like, okay, word. And then she found out I was going to LA Fashion Week, came out, visited in LA, and then when she found out I was moving out here, she told me to come move in with her instead of moving out to LA full time. And I was like, yeah, screw it. Why not? Let's find out who you are.
That is so crazy. I've never heard of it going that far when I hear these reunion stories that you're actually living with her now.
Yeah. It's a little bit of an adjustment because like I'm more of a I do what I want whenever I want type of guy. And that's just always been my energy, like no matter what situation. It's gotten me in a lot of trouble, but like at the same time, I do what I want. So like, and then like she's very traditional Indian, so she thinks I don't do what I want, but I get away. I have my ways. So it's like the cultural barrier. Like I'm not very cultural at all. So it's that's kind of something we're working on right now, heavily.
Does she cook good food?
Yeah, that's one of the benefits. I thought I was a good chef, but I've been humbled.
Oh, that is awesome. So how did you get involved in fashion? How is that? That's one of your creative sides. You actually do a lot. So tell our viewers a little about what you do and then how you got involved in fashion.
Well, fashion, it started 2021. I started my podcast like literally right before the pandemic, and my whole thing was, all right, I'm gonna just stick to this podcast.
And what's the name of your podcast?
Mind of Dav. It's on Spotify, Apple, literally any streaming, no matter what part of the world you're in, it's on there. But it kind of started with I was just going to stick to my podcasts and make videos for local restaurants until I made my way to California, because I knew, like, I'm going to be in California. I'm going to be big in my life, because there's just certain things in your soul that like, and this was like, I'm him. I'm going to do this. So I remember one day I was chilling and my boy was like, hey, man, I know this agency, this local agency, they rejected me one time to come out to New York Fashion Week, but the guy that they hired over you, he kind of didn't show, and they want you to come and film for his spot since he's not here. And like, I was just like, motherfucker, I'm all the way in Easton, bro. That's like a 3-hour drive. Screw it, let's go. Right away, didn't need 2 seconds. I just knew, I was like, all right, things are lining up. This is what I was waiting for. Boom, hit the shower, called my boy Daylin, who's my go-to photographer back at home. Shout out to Dr. Day, much love, my brother. But I was like, yo, Day, we out here, like, let's go. And my boy Ari wanted to come, and I'm one of those people, if I have an opportunity, you know damn well all the homies gonna eat. So I took my little squad out to New York. We recorded this video. And this video went so well that my friend Karen sent it to some guy, Junior, who works for Vogue Fashion Runway, and he was doing a show out in Miami, and he's just like, I want you here right now. Brought me out to Miami, paid for everything, invited me to the after parties, and just like let me do the show and just did whatever I want. And then that got me into the main shows in New York Fashion Week, and now the rest is history. Now I just trying to hit all the fashion weeks, going to Milan this year for the first time.
Wow, that'll be so much fun.
It's like the art capital of the world, so I'm like really excited to be like, it was like, do I go to Paris or do I go to Milan? And like, I had to step back for a second. I was like, dude, I remember when I didn't even know where my next meal was coming from. Like, I remember having to do like the littlest things. Like, I would put
top ramen.
Yeah, dude, I would be the type of person to put orange juice in my ramen, like just so I could get some substance. And I was just like, you know what? This is different. Now I'm just like, Paris or Miami. What is this? Is it me? So I was just like, you know what? I started this for the creative adventure, knowing I'm gonna make it. Doesn't matter if I go to Paris Fashion Week. I'm gonna go to Milan because art. That's what I want to see. So yeah, my goal is to hit every fashion week within the next 3 years.
So why move to LA? I mean, I lived in LA for a long time. I know we're fashion forward there, but compared to New York to me was always way like a little bit more fashion forward than LA was. So you were already kind of like in that area.
Yeah.
So why was LA better?
Well, like you said earlier, I have like many different things I want to do. Fashion just ended up being the thing that they were like, we like you, come on in, come do more. So I was like, all right, cool. But like, I know if I moved out to the West Coast, I would be put in situations where like my skills will be shown more than just fashion.
Because you're a videographer.
Yeah, just I'm a videographer in general. Like I love making cinematic video. Like I love making short films, like commercial shoots for local restaurants.
This is the place to be,
Yeah, so I was just like, I might as well come here because, the competition's gonna be a lot more, but like pressure makes diamonds. And if I could take over PA, I could take over here,
No, for sure. That's really cool. And I love the whole story of coming here. I mean, you can't beat that.
Yeah. Hollywood, call me. I'm ready. Netflix, y'all want to make a documentary about my life? I give full permission. Like, just give it 2 years when I'm raising lions in South Africa.
So you said you do a lot of like restaurants. So what's the thing, because you've toured to where you do stuff on the road. Tell us a little bit about those videos.
Like on the road, like travel videos?
Yeah, you said you did travel videos and like food videos.
Well, actually, the food videos started for a local restaurant in Eastern Pennsylvania called Hosa. It's a South African restaurant. And I was like, hey, this was like back during the starting days. So I was literally going, knocking business to business. Hey guys, do you want a video? And then it wasn't working. So I went back, came up with a new pitch. I was like, all right, what should I really say to these people that are going to be like, okay, we'll take a chance on you, some random dude that just knocked on our shop and said, let me make you a video. You know, so my whole pitch was, all right, guys, how about this? If I make you a video and you guys like it, you guys pay me what I think I'm worth. If you don't, let me keep it for my portfolio. And they liked the video so much, they just, without question, they were like, how much do you want? I was like, really? I was like, okay, named my price. They gave it to me. And I was like, that was my little pitch for every restaurant I went to, every barbershop I went to. They're just like, hey guys, I'm a videographer. I'm local here. I'm trying to start my portfolio. That was like my go-to thing until I started meeting people that were just looking at my portfolio instead of hearing my words.
And for that kind of led to traveling, because now you can go other places.
The fashion actually is what led to traveling, because the lady I mentioned earlier, Karen LeBron, she's actually a travel agent. She runs destination model shoots, and she's like always taking me out to like wherever she is planning her next shoot, whether it's New Orleans. She's going to Costa Rica next, and she's just like, hey, I want you to come make a video and just show the travel experience. And it's great because like her thing is so out the mind. She wants to get really in with the culture. Like when we went to Puerto Rico.
Oh, that sounds right up your alley.
Yeah, I love that. Like I just love meeting new people, just getting to know like you know, at the end of the day we're all human, and like I have a philosophy called the human connection, and like if I could like meet someone and really touch their soul, like I feel pretty nice. If I can make a impact in your life, even though what I want doesn't work out, but somehow due to me you were inspired and able to make out what you want, that's a good life. Like I'll be happy with that. At least like I helped someone, you know? That's just always been my thing.
So what kind of camera do you use when you travel and do all this?
I have a Fujifilm X-T30, and then I use a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K.
So what do you think now when you see like everybody's a YouTuber and doing this, that, doing stuff with their cell phones and doing all these videos? Because sometimes I wonder, you know, and the same with photography, sometimes it's like a dying art because now everyone's like, well, we have a cell phone and we can do this and we can do this ourselves. You know what you can do versus what they can do. How do you put that value in businesses for them to understand what you can do?
Understand?
You know what I mean? Like, because you already know the difference, but how do you make the value when other people are like, well, I'm just going to save money and let this person do it with their cell phone and like give her?
Well, there's two ways to go about it. If I know I'm not going to get through to them and they're just like wasting my time, I would be like, you know what? Go do what you're going to do with the iPhone guy, and if you don't like it, hit me up after. And or it's just like I tell them, hey, look, the iPhone can't go in this depth with like my lenses. I tell them all about the different lenses I have, the different like how the f-stop works on everything and the shutters. Like I just really break down why iPhones can't really do, and like the cinematic footage that they got for their new iPhone 14 Pro, like, you know, damn well that's not right from the camera. They had to get a rig, they had to get this, they had to get this. They had to really spend a full on how much they would on a normal production, but this time just to support the iPhone best. And like obviously if Apple's spending thousands on thousands, if not millions of dollars, even if it's a iPhone, it's gonna look good. Do you have $1 million to spend to make your iPhone look good? No, but you might have 1,000 or 500, which will make your video look good regardless.
Well, so where do we get a hold of you if we want you to do some video production for us? Tell our viewers how we can get a hold of you.
You could hit me up through my number, 213-214-8623. And then I also have an Instagram, dav_TV_official. That's DAV_TV_official. And you could always hit me up through my podcast, my email at davtv97@gmail.com. My podcast is available everywhere, like I mentioned earlier. And I do have a way for the audience to interact directly with my episodes and hyperlinks to all that.
What's the podcast mainly about?
It's about people and getting into the minds of people. Like I just like my first episode, I remember I had my shaman come in and like we really like dug into what got them into the various things they do to get into the right mindset in their life. The second episode was a labor worker. I've had musicians, I've had models, designers, just people from all walks of life. I just want to come in, talk to them, and just like be like, yo, dude, what makes you tick? Why in your mind are you him, you know, or her, like, you know? just different things. And it's just always nice to have a wide variety of like mindsets in your life, I feel like. And I always take something away from every podcast guest. Anybody I talk to, I like to take away and be like, all right, that's a way to think about things that I never have. Like, and I genuinely believe if I didn't like give myself all these openings to bring in different pathways into my life and different mindsets, I'd be following a path similar to my brother's, which isn't good.
Wow.
Yeah.
How often can we expect new content on?
Well, recently it has been a little slow, but I am coming back. I was working on a production for a short film, so that was taking like a lot of my time, and then trying to work on another side project. Shh, that's a secret, guys. But doing that just took up so much of my time. But now it's just like, okay, I have like the pathway for it set. So now I could just start like making videos on Instagram again, making my YouTube videos. So I'm gonna try to pump out something like a podcast episode once a week with like old-fashioned videos and like Miami Swim Week coming up. So like you're gonna expect some stuff from up there for sure as well.
How excited! I can't wait. I cannot wait to see, especially what you come up with Miami's the swim and what they're doing.
Oh,
wow.
It's gonna be so dope.
Thank you so much for coming on my show
Yeah,
today.
of course. Thank you for having me. It was really great.
Felt right in the moment, felt right in the summertime. It felt right drinking cherry wine with you. Just wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you. Now I must confess here, oh I must confess dear, don't think I'm in love with you. Winter is coming and I don't know what to do, and there's no more use in running, no more running to you. And I don't want your loving, I don't wanna be just friends, knowing all this time we were playing pretend.
It's a